Ball 101 on Sports Radio 1450. Call now. Mark Graham, Adam Stark, Eric Pedigo, and Nicorelli are standing by to take your calls on Fantasy Football 101 on Sports Radio 1450.
Good morning. You're listening to Fantasy Football 101 on Sports Radio 1450. Adam Stark alongside Eric Pedigo, Mark Graham, and Nicorelli. We appreciate you guys tuning in on a Saturday morning. Week number 7 already coming up in the NFL season. Real excited about it. We'll run through the injuries by positions. We'll also bring you our studs, duds, and sleepers for the week a little bit later on. And we're always streaming live on the webpage at sportsradio1450.com. And, of course, taking your phone calls at 529-1450. That's 529-1450, and this is going to be the last week for this poll question, guys. I want to get a different one from you, but what is the most important position on your fantasy football team? And defense is running away with it, like 60% of the votes.
29 votes. I'm amazed. I mean, first of all, I appreciate everyone who gets on there and votes, but, boy, there's a lot more IDP people out there that I know about, but 29 votes for defense, that's amazing.
Well, it is the leading scorer on my team, so I guess it is pretty important.
Well, that's
pretty good, man.
That's got to be the exception, though. I can't believe it. Do you think people are just joking?
I hope so.
I'll just vote defense.
I hope so. But at least I have my first win in my league with Eric. And this week I play Mark in my other league.
Oh, so. I'm telling you, this is going to be scary. You got Adrian Peterson going, who really hasn't gone off yet, and I have a bad feeling he's going to against me this week.
Well, and you got a couple of guys that might be on the injury report.
Clinton Portis all of a sudden now goes on the questionable list. That's just the one I don't need to hear right now.
We will run through all of the injuries, and the biggest one out there that everyone wants to know about is Tony Romo's little finger, so we'll talk about that coming up. But we already have a phone call. 529-1450 is that phone number. Good morning. You're on Fantasy Football 101.
Hey, guys. Great call there on the Derek Anderson versus JTO debate there and who's start.
What do we say?
Yeah. I think we went.
Oh, yeah. So Derek Anderson was washed up, and go JTO all the way.
I know.
That was a fluke game, man. Don't buy too much into it. I don't think Derek Anderson's just going to be back.
I got a new strategy with you guys. Let's do this and give me 2 starting running backs out of these 4. Rudy Johnson. Let's see. Kevin Jones. Or no, not Kevin Jones, but Rudy Johnson, Ernest Graham. Rudy Johnson. Yeah, Rudy Johnson, Ernest Graham, Steve Slayton, or Adrian Peterson. Give me 2 of the 4.
I have to go AP for sure, and I have to go with Ernest Graham.
Ernest Graham? See, I like Steve Slayton over Ernest Graham, I think.
It depends. If they decide to play Ernest Graham more as a fullback this week, then I'd go with Slayton. They used him a lot last week in the fullback position, and Warwick Dunn had a big week. So to be safe, unless I knew otherwise, I'd go with Slayton and Peterson.
Well, the reason they put in Ernest Graham at fullback is because the backup fullback, which was starting for the original fullback, which went down, the backup fullback goes down, and they literally didn't have anyone else to play fullback. Ernest Graham has a little bit of experience at that position, so they threw him in. But they just brought in a guy to play some fullback, so they expect Ernest Graham to be back at the halfback spot a little bit more.
Okay,
but I still like Steve Slayton better.
Slayton and AP,
and you're still not sold on the Derek Anderson. Because I think the first game he had some drops. The second game he was thrown against 40-mile-an-hour winds against Pittsburgh, and like I said, he did this the other night without Kellen Winslow.
I think that they caught the Giants sleeping last week is what I think happened, and Cleveland still has a really tough schedule ahead of them. But I also said Peyton Manning was a bust last week, so maybe you shouldn't listen to me.
Hey, you guys do a good job. Like I said, hey, we miss them every now and then, so don't worry about it.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, bye.
529-1450 is that phone number, 529-1450 in Cleveland. Just in case you're wondering, playing at Washington this week. So we'll see. We'll see if Derek Anderson can put together a couple good games. Washington's going to be pretty ready to go after losing to the Rams. Their coach is not too happy after last week's loss. We do have another call already, 529-1450. Good morning. You're on Fantasy Football 101.
Gentlemen, I need you to make me feel like I didn't screw up a trade.
Oh, I love this.
Okay. I had a friend of mine in my league come to me and offer me Kellen Winslow. Now, this was last Saturday evening when we didn't know what's going on with Kellen Winslow. Owen Daniels and Fred Jackson. 4, John Carlson, Vernon Davis, and Lawrence Maroney. So I traded those guys for Winslow, Daniels, and Jackson. How did that? Please tell me I didn't really screw up too much.
No, I don't think you did. Winslow, I doubt will play this week, but it sounds like everything I've read, he will be good to go after this week. Owen Daniels is an exceptional tight end, very good tight end. Fred Jackson is a nice flex player, especially if you're in a PPR league. If you're in a points per reception, Fred Jackson is gold. What you gave up, I'm not that. Vernon Davis has one good game a year. And then let's see the other guys. I'm
waiting on that one still.
Yeah. I'm just not convinced. I think you did a good job. I don't think you have any problems at all.
Yeah, Maroney's useless. John Carlson's on a terrible team. I think you got a good deal in that trade, especially when Winslow comes back. You have 2 top-notch tight ends to pick from.
Well, I keep getting one last thing. I keep getting nervous because last year Maroney got better as the season went along, and I know that he doesn't have Brady, and he just doesn't seem like he was last year, but I keep worrying that it's going to be one of those deals where I trade him, and then, of course, Maroney gets, all of a sudden he finds his religion on the field or something, and all of a sudden he can do everything, and then Fred Jackson becomes the guy that, he becomes no better than Lorenzo Neal or something, so.
Well, that could happen. I mean, but that's what trades are all about. They're risky, but I think in your instance, you were looking for a tight end. You got one, and those other names aren't that big anyway. They're not impact players, so I think you'll be all right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Hey, you too. 529-1450, 529-1450. Good morning. You're on Fantasy Football 101.
Hey, good morning. How you guys doing?
Good.
Great.
Good.
I'd ask you to rate this trade. I traded Terrell Owens and Chris Cooley for AP.
Wow, you gave up a little bit. You're hoping that AP comes around and has a big second half.
Well, my other receivers are I got Mush Muhammad, Bernard Berryman, Andre Johnson, and Anquan Bolden. And I just picked up Marvin Harrison.
Oh,
wow.
My.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah,
you're fine.
Never mind.
Are you in a keeper league?
No, I'm not, but I'm also not in the points per reception. So that ties into my next question. 3 receivers to start. I know Andre Johnson for sure. But out of them, would you Bernard Berryman and Mush Muhammad then, or what do you think?
I tell you what, with the way Harrison's been playing lately, and they're playing Green Bay with a secondary that's not the 100%, I think Marvin Harrison would be a nice play along with Bernard Berryman.
So probably Merriman instead of, Marvin instead of Mush then?
Muhammad's had some good games, but I think this will be a week you're going to see. Steve Smith always has big games against New Orleans. Big games. So this might be the week to not play Mushin and plug in Marvin. Marvin's looked pretty good the last couple weeks.
Yeah, he has. All right, guys. Doing good work. Thanks.
Thanks.
The only thing that pops into my mind is Berrien is showing up on the injury report. He is questionable as far as I saw at last website I checked. And, Moose could have a big game. That New Orleans is known for shootouts, and I think they're in for another one against Carolina this week.
Easily. Big shootout this week. And spoiler alert, I have Muhammad as my sleeper, so I like Muhammad.
So you're leaning Moose.
But I don't have a problem with what Mark said. I think those 3 guys will be just fine, too. I think Marvin Harrison has been getting plenty of targets this year. It just hadn't been working out until this last game. I like Marvin Harrison. I think he'll be a fine play.
And Harris is out this week, too, for the Packers as far as one of their corners. So, yeah, Harrison might not be a bad play. And Reggie Wayne might be my stud. I might have to change my change it now. 529-1450 is the phone number. Good morning. You're on Fantasy Football 101.